Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Terraria, and this time I'm gonna be talking about Darwin's game, and basically it's based on. Let's see how far away is it. I'm gonna go over here, see what's over here. But anyway, it's based on this protagonist where he's living day to day normal life of a high schooler, and suddenly his friend is like in danger and is being hunted down by this panda. And for the fact is that this panda is actually trying to kill him, and it doesn't matter what his friend does trying to escape. It's basically like a death match, and it is a death match. It's not basically. And he ends up trying to call for help for his remaining points, and he ends up calling his friend, which is the main protagonist. And obviously the friend didn't get there in time, and his friend ended up dying. He saw that message in the morning and decides to brush it off. And he realizes that his friend, who he has known for a long time, and all of a sudden he's been getting like money, buying new clothes, buying motorcycles, and he doesn't know where he's actually getting this money. And he sees this app that his friend sent him, and he ends up deciding to actually open the app, and come to find out a snake ended up popping up and biting in his neck. But apparently he was the only one that saw this phenomenon, so he brushed it off and nothing happened. And later on, another one? I just ended one, I feel like. Great, I guess I'm going back. And he ended up getting dragged into this game. He realizes that this game that his friend was playing, you could get money from it, and you could purchase anything and stuff like that. Guns, bombs, cars, house, people too. And he realizes that this is a death game, and once you're in it, you cannot escape. And so what he's trying to do is trying to unravel what this game is, because now he's in for the long run, and each player has a different ability. His ability is kind of weird. He's able to create stuff. Creating, ammunition, weapons, basically weapons. And for the longest time, he had no clue what's his ability, and he's been going into these deathmatch not knowing. It's really cool. What's going on? Not knowing what he can use, and he's been fighting for his life and figure out that the phenomenon that people have been talking about online is based on this game. So he decides to try to beat the game, but many people try and many people fail. Many people die along the way. No one was able to actually beat the game, and he ends up having teammates along the way and stuff like that. His lover, which is an A star, he's I believe a G. He goes into the lowest rank once you start the game, and basically those are newbies and stuff like that. And his lover is an A star. They aren't lovers at the time, but she ends up trying to kill him at the beginning, and he ends up winning. She's able to control chains, and she's really good at that. She's a very good killer. So because he ends up winning against her, she ends up becoming in love with him and basically devotes her life to him. And apparently, he goes along in this fast game, and he ends up getting more comrades that basically tries to kill him, but at the end he ends up becoming friends with them. Halfway through, he ends up making a clan, and this clan is gonna monopolize all of Japan, and killing will be basically illegal. You can still participate in the game, but you cannot kill. And their clan is one of the strongest ones out there. And obviously people are going to resist and stuff like that. And people try to kill them. And they discover what this game actually is. So going along through the manga, at least, I don't know how far the anime went, they realize that this game isn't simply just a game. This game is basically a preparation for the future. Because the creator, the game master, he's able to hop in different worlds. He's able to see the future. And the future he came from was basically a world of chaos and destruction, and everyone was dead. And in order to prevent this from happening to this earth, he ends up making the game and making players have powers and gain powers to fight these creatures. And it's kind of shitty the situation they are in my opinion, because now they've been dragged into this, and now they have to defend for their life. I don't know how I got this blood moon. I feel like it's I literally got this blood moon recently too. It's really irritating. So what gets crazy in this series, in the books at least, that he actually gets isekai to a different world, to a different Japan, and from there he learns more of the game, and he realizes that there's another game master in this world, and none of them are really evil. Because what the game masters are basically, they're special individuals, and they've been fighting this corruption, you could call them. And that the corruption goes into different worlds and basically invades that world and basically consume the core of the world. And they try to prevent enemies necessary, and this is where the game actually begins. And if you could beat the corruption, then there's no point of the game ever existing. So, obviously, the main character, what he does, he ends up joining hands on this world's power and basically trying to defeat. He's trying to defeat the corruption in the other world, and obviously he fails and stuff like that, and that world basically got destroyed. Nothing could have done. He couldn't do nothing about it. So during the whole time he got stronger and stuff like that, and he went back to his world, and he realizes that before he left, he was gonna fight basically those monsters, and they end up destroying all of Japan and stuff like that. So now he goes back to dystopia Japan, and basically he sees what had happened. I like how she's fighting. So situation occurs and stuff like that, and they try to fight their big battle, and I believe they lost again. And before they die, he got sent back in time, and basically he was gonna do all over again, and definitely. And which he does, and this is going further into the actual manga. So he ends up trying to gather his friends, his people, because obviously he went back in time. His lover doesn't know he is his best friend and stuff like that, and he tries to change the past, or change the future by going into the past. And this was the last time that the game master was able to do this, because if he would have done it another time, he doesn't have the power anymore, because they've been fighting for a long time, and this is the last chance to actually overcome the corruption. It's a good series in my opinion. It's always a good read to action, suspense, thriller. I'm not sure if the mangas are done. It looked like it was about to be done. I'm not entirely sure if it's actually done. So I recommend people to actually read it. By people is whoever is watching this video. I was gonna do something, but this blood moon happened, and now it's becoming a pain in the ass to what manga or slash anime I'm gonna talk about next. I have to see what I want to talk about. Obviously, my summaries aren't that great, and it's just my point of view. Obviously, people think this is a shit anime or slash manga, and other people think it's an actually good one. I think it's a good one at least. The next anime I'm gonna talk about slash manga is bukurano, and it's I suppose it's a mecha anime. It's also a tragic anime too. It's based on these group of kids that one day someone suggested to go into a cave, and when they went into this cave, they realized that there was that there was machines everywhere and stuff like that. And there was an old man, and the old man said asked if they wanted to play a game. And if that was me, I'm like an old man in the cave and asking children to play a game. That's kind of weird because these children are young. They're like the age of, they're like the age of like, the youngest I think is like 4 and the oldest is like maybe 12. Anyway, obviously as kids being kids, they say yeah. And they realize that this game is actually, they go into this robot, and the old man teaches the kids how to fight. Not fight, but pilot the robot. And the objective is to fight the other robot slash monster, and they win. And the old man told the kids that he will go first. And obviously the old man wins. And after he finished everything, he was gonna apologize to him, but suddenly he disappears. And next thing they knew, they woke up and they're in the beach. And they think it was a dream and stuff like that until a few days after, a kid have a mark on his face or arm, I forgot where exactly. There's a mark on their body indicating the next pilot. And he was the next pilot. He ends up piloting the robot and he won. Obviously the kids are cheering and they're happy that they won. And one of the kids accidentally shoved him, and the kid ends up, the kid pilot, whatever, he ended up falling over, and his body got washed up to shore and he died. Obviously they didn't know what was going on, and it was an accident, and the kids didn't know what was going on. Obviously they don't tell anyone until a certain point in time of this series. And then again it happened, another pilot happened, and this time they won, and it's cool, it ricochets. And he won, and he ended up going to the, afterwards they were going to celebrate, and the kid just dropped that code. And they realized that every time they pilot the robot, they use it as a life force. No matter if they win or lose, they're going to die. And it's a shame no one wants to pilot, no one wants to play the game, and they realize that now they're trapped. Because if they don't fight and they don't win, the whole world will get destroyed. And these kids have difficult backgrounds too. Some are runaways, some are prostitution, some single parent, divorced. They got beaten by their parents, and none's really happy about this. But they still fight. For the fact is, they fight for some fight for their family, some fight for their loved ones and stuff like that. And if I was a kid, be mindful, they're like 12 years old, and they don't, the whole world don't know what they're actually doing, because eventually it gets to a point where they kill accidentally people and stuff like that during the fights, and obviously it's gonna happen. And they basically damn these kids and basically don't believe their story, and because they told the government and blah blah blah, only a select few people would know. But over time they realize that they don't believe these kids, and they try to kill the kids at some point. And I'm like, man, these ungrateful people. But it's not their fault, because no one knows what's actually going on but the kids and the select few people. And it's so sad too, because then they fight for their lives, but they also beg and stuff like that, because no one wants to die, especially them being kids. And them knowing who's going to be the next pilot is very heartbroken. And then they figure out later that the enemies they're fighting is a different people from a different parallel universes. and basically it's just weeding out the weak. And whoever wins after 13 matches, they're not gonna fight again, and they basically it's a weed out the weak. And it's a really tough one. I was reading it, and I'm like, the whole time I'm like, man, I feel sorry for these kids. And not a really good for the kids. Obviously, towards the end, that I believe all of the kids but one survived. And it was basically, she was telling the story of what actually occurred. No one really believed her and stuff like that. It's a story that she made up that people think. And it was a survivor, one of the the girls, the sister, and she saw everything. And for the longest time, she wanted to fight and help. She was like 4 at the time. Now she's like 12, their age. And it's really tough because now she's alone, and no one actually knows what actually happened. No one knows that they were actually heroes and that they sacrificed their lives to save everyone, even though everyone was so ungrateful. But yeah, that would be my second one, Bukurano. I do recommend watching. It's kind of old, but it's also really good. And this is gonna be like a shorter video, so see you guys next time. Bye.